Good morning, Flosstube. Pam, stitching between the lines. Today is Sunday, October 29th. I'll just have to look. Rainy, rainy, rainy. We've had rain. Lots of rain and then some more rain and gray skies. It's kind of been a bleak fall once fall finally hit. Not that we mind the rain. Really, we need the rain. We didn't have rain over the summer much. No summer thunderstorms, which is kind of too bad. Anyway, get down to business right quick here. Stitching. I've had a lot of stitching. Been able to do a lot of stitching, which has really been a pleasure. I went away for a weekend with some stitching friends, and I took a lot of projects, but my intent was to work on 3 projects, one each day, which I did. The first day, I worked on my Prairie Schooler, which I really only, sorry, I gotta look and see what I dropped. I really only just started it one time out and just put some stitches in it just to have a Prairie Schooler going because they're my favorite. And I took it and I worked on it the first evening, afternoon, evening, whatever. It's book number 198, Christmas Tree Farm. I'm thrilled to death that these are being re-released. I owned this one already, so I don't even know if it's a re-release now or not. I think it is. It might be newly re-released. Anyway, one of the things that kind of causes me a little bit of a fear that I'm going to repurchase something I already have is that in my list, my phone, and my list of what I own, I have them by number. And the number's not coming up. Like when you see it online at a store or something, they say what it is, they show it, but the number is not always evident. So if I pull out my phone and I think, do I have that one or not? Now, I know I could go downstairs and go through my file. But the numbering system worked so well. I don't know why they've done away with it. Anyway, Christmas Tree Farm. I did a couple years ago, I did this as an ornament. I have actually in the project bag the cut to do this. And then I had a cut to stitch on, which isn't exactly big enough, but whatever. It'll be fine. It's something I'll probably just finish myself. So I did, while we were stitching together, I did the roof, the tree, the next house, and that was all I managed to do. I've left off the stitching border because I have a feeling I'm going to be close to the edge, and I just decided to leave it off. If I frame it myself, I don't have to worry that it's so obvious if I don't do a nice, even, straight mounting job. This project, I always knew I was taking it, and I couldn't find it. I couldn't find it, couldn't find it, and couldn't find it. I looked and looked and looked and looked, and I thought, oh, I know, I have that X-Stitch app, and I put in there what whips I have, and in the notes, I put which project bag it's in, so that maybe it'll stand out in a crowd. So I went and looked on the app, and I had not put in what this bag was, so I felt like maybe it was somebody was trying to tell me, don't bring this one. It worked out. I found it. The next day, my project was Silver Creek Samplers Christmas list. I always have trouble finding the name for this one. I struggle a little bit. I didn't bring any of the other papers for the pattern that really do have the name. It has been a pleasure every step of the way, even given the mistake I made. Prior to going, I think the last time I showed it to you, I was somewhere up in this top part. Prior to going, I had finished the top. And the only thing I had done down here was some of the words of wrapping presents was done. So I did the presents, I did the words, I did the stockings, I did the gingerbread men, and then I did this myself once I was home. But the present really tripped me up. Do you see how there's the year in there? And do you see what year it is? On the pattern, this is, you make a mistake. We were laughing about this. You make a mistake and you merrily stitch away like you're thinking, oh, look at me go. This is so nice. Look at me go. I'm really making some progress. And then you discover there's an epic mistake. So the present right there, you see it says 2017, which, do we need to revisit my pet peeves about making numbers available? what happened was I was doing the blue, the background of the present, and I wasn't even paying attention to what pattern the lights stitching made. I just thought, well, it'll present itself when I'm done. I could see it from the pattern that it wasn't like a rhythmic, like do two, skip one, do two, skip one. This half of the present, let's find the camera and get in close, is a checkerboard. But I could see that this one wasn't without looking very hard. So I worked away, and then I started to do the light, and I discovered I missed a row. Now, at this point, I still don't know what's in there because I'm merrily stitching away like an idiot. So I discover I'm missing a row, so I have to go from the top down and take out a bunch of rows, and I put them all back in, and then I go back to stitching the light stitches and discover what exactly it is that is on that present. I'm not taking it out again. So I decided to make it look like a 9 with a straight stitch from the top of the 7 down. So I actually cannot finish this year in order to stay true to the date. So there. Slow down is what I'm telling myself. The other thing I brought, oh, there it is, sorry. I worked on, I took this to StitchCon in the summer, and I didn't start it there. Prior to going, I had boxed everything in, so I had the boxes to work within, and then when I was at StitchCon, I worked on it. I finished the letters, I remember that. I had messed up on the house and had to take it out and redo parts, so the house was well underway. The tree was done, but not the leaves and the cherries. The truck had a chassis, and that was it, and no cherries in a basket. The cherries down below had the leaves, and that was it. So I worked away and worked away and worked away. I did not finish it there. I had the shading on the cherries still needed to be done, and I think a few letters, and that was it. So I finished it. I'm going to work on getting a true color of this fabric because it really is beautiful. It's Color and Cottons. Let me get it right because it's so pretty. Lemon Cake. It's a Joblin 32 count lemon cake. And I swear, no matter what I do, when I took the picture on Instagram and posted it, I was really kind of horrified at how poorly the color showed. I don't know. I just can't really get it. I don't even know what to put behind it to add enough contrast to it somewhere. Anyway, it's a beautiful yellow. Beautiful fabric. So that was an actual finish. I think I'm going to sneeze. Sorry if that happens. Sorry. And then prior to going, I worked on my Farms of Hawkrun Hollow a little bit. I've said before, I'm working on the big, huge square up here. I feel like if I master that one, the other ones will feel so much more manageable. And my wish was to finish the sign, to do the sign. I hadn't even started it. And I slowly worked my way. I really like I do the background first and put the letters on over it. And I like to do that, work on a pattern where you say do 2 stitches, skip 1, do 1, skip 1, do 10 stitches, like that. So I did each word independently. Background, then the word, then background, then the word. Prior to starting on the sign, actually, after I finished the sign, I worked on, this is scenery over the hillside, and the tree, I worked on the trees a bit. I wanted to get the trees done so that I made sure I started the sign in the exact right spot. So that one really is fun to work on. 40 count, I have to wear cheaters and use my magnifier. So it takes, a little bit of concentration. And then my biggest whip, the whip that's really currently my favorite, Winter Sampler by Jan Lynn that I've been working on for a couple years. Hit or miss, a couple times very intensely, and then just sporadically I worked it in with Farmhouse Christmas. I would do the Farmhouse Christmas block, and then I'd come back to this. And then when the next Farmhouse Christmas came out, I would go and do that. So I had made it down into this final quadrant as of last time I showed it. And now I am at the point where this piece is moving back and forth from upstairs stitching chair to downstairs stitching chair. So it is major focus. The Silver Creek Samplers Christmas list, Christmas list, I think is the name of it. I still pull that out a little bit if I neglected to carry this upstairs or downstairs, whatever. I am really making my way. There's a lot of outlining stitches like that make the page of the book and that are snowflakes and they have French knots. So I've kind of been holding off on doing those. And so I'm skipping around a little bit between doing some letters, I did the background of the jingle bells. I'm working on this. This is really intense and fussy, but a lot of the colors that are in here end up in the jingle bells. So I'm just trying to putter away at it. That would probably be the best way to describe it. Do a little outlining as I go. I did this, and I need to do the trees up here, but I have to outline the rest, the book, which uses the same color as the letters. So I'm just, like I said, I'm just kind of puttering away. My goal, and I think it's attainable, is to finish this by Thanksgiving. So, yay, that'll be really exciting. So, that's the thing. Ow, found the needle. Not that it was lost. This pattern gets rolled up, so I try to put the needle so it runs up and down and then you don't run into it, but that's not what I did. Okay. We'll save this for a minute. We'll show this real quick. I had shown before that I had finished Pumpkin Hollow Farms, the Priscilla and Chelsea stitch along, and it's by Little House Country Cottage. I don't know. Country Cottage, maybe. Little House. I don't know. Sorry for forgetting. I found this basket thing. It has hooks in it. It actually has 4 of them. Clothespins in it. Found it at Michael's, half off. Well, yeah, all frames and picture display things were half off. So I mounted it. And then I was looking for garland. I really wanted some garland that had like pumpkins on it, but kind of was too late in the season, I think. So these pine cones and cotton, I just put them on there. Nothing's attached permanently. Everything can come out. Everything could be changed, swapped out. Even the picture is just held in with the clothespins. But I really like the end result of that, just sort of rustic browns finish. So that worked. That worked well. When I met with my stitching friends, we didn't plan to do any kind of exchange. We just kind of did a casual exchange. So I have to show because some of them, everybody's so thoughtful. My friend Lee, who I see in Florida and here, made these. Now I can feel a needle in there. I'm trying to figure out if it's this one or is there a needle in there. She made these little needle rolls, like a pincushion. I'll pull this off. I don't know if if this is a design she did herself or if there was a pattern for it somewhere or somewhere she'd seen this. This is all stuffed with probably walnut shells, something that you would stick a needle into. But this is what's the cool part. This, if it's either hanging down the arm of your chair or laying out flat, is nice. It catches your threads, because it's felt. So you can put your little snippies on there. But if you want to do different, there's fabric that's cork. And I've seen it in quilt stores. And often it's used in a purse. Making of a purse or a wallet, that's where I've seen it used. Well, she used it on the back side of this, and so it could be a coaster. That is so stinking clever. And then she stuck on the bottom with magnets, one of the needle threaders. These are my absolute favorite brand of needle threaders. This is the wee little one that you can also use to thread a beading needle. So I just love these. The magnet has stuck itself to something else because I had this off and I was using it. And so on one of my needle minders, I am sure there's a magnet somewhere. So that will turn up. In the meantime, it's sort of magneted to the needle that's in there. And then my friend Linda gave us, this was so cute, in an email, a group email that was sent, I clearly missed, where she asked what the color of our kitchens were so that she could match accordingly. she gave us all these calendar towels which hang, and I'm telling you, for not knowing what color my kitchen is, this picture could not be more perfect. I mean, literally, there is nothing more perfect than this. If this was a cross stitch, I would want to stitch it. So I just love this. The box, when I got it out and was putting together the hanging thing, the box said, what did it? It said something like a year on the wall, a year as a calendar, a lifetime as a dish towel, something like that. I thought it was cute. So that was really sweet. The other thing she gave us were some of the Wonder Clips. Quilters, anybody who sews much knows what the Wonder Clips are. And the irony is, great minds think alike, is that I had also included some Wonder Clips in my gift because I think they are wonderful. They're little, like clothespins kind of thing, but they have a couple features about them, like the width. This particular width is, I believe, a 1/2 inch. I don't think that's a 1/4 inch, but I might be wrong. You'd think I'd be good at eyeballing a 1/4 inch, but anyway. And they have metal on them, so they're magnetic, and they just really, instead of using pins, like especially when you're quilting, if you really need to hold something in place, these are wonderful. So I have varying sizes, all manner of them. I love them. I keep them. Every flat surface in my sewing room has some Wonder Clips on them. Can never have too many Wonder Clips. And then Carol made us an ornament. Carol does the most beautiful finishing. Carol is, sorry, Carol. I'm thinking about her blog name. Stitching Dreams. I'm sorry. I'm going to write that here because, yeah, she's been blogging for years and years, and she's on Instagram, and she follows just about everybody. So everybody I know and follow, she's also follows. She does just absolutely beautiful finishing, just real attention to detail, and she's very practiced at it. That's the thing, is that she's practiced at it. And she fussy cut the backing, which was darling, just darling. On the blog, she at some point does a tutorial, stitchingdreams.blogspot.com, I'm pretty sure. She does a tutorial on how she makes her bows. She does a beautiful job. So there's that. I will happily hang on my tree. Currently, it is displayed along with some fall Halloween decorations because I couldn't resist. And that's pretty much it for the stitching world, except I have... I need a piece of information if anybody knows and has it. First thing, I'm going to put a picture here. This is my kitchen, part of my kitchen, over the cupboards where I have all manner of things on display. There's a stitching up there. I was gazing the other day, about a week or two ago. I was standing at the stove cooking something, slowly waiting, and I was just sort of gazing up there, and I saw a piece. I saw a piece up there with a mistake in it. That thing has been hanging there for 9 years. 9 years. Had no idea. So we'll get another. Well, this will be picture number 2. We'll get a little closer. See if you can see the mistake. Probably not yet. So I got it down. It's an absolutely lovely piece, and I am very sorry to say it's not available. It's Sampler Girls in the Kitchen with Jane Austen, and it is one of my absolute favorite patterns. I did it on a piece of Silk Weaver. I believe it was a solo. It was from back in the day when I got a year of Silk Weaver Surprise Me Fabric of the Month. It is just one of my absolute favorite pieces, and I don't know why I don't have the pattern, because I don't get rid of the patterns for pieces that I love. Did I loan it and just forget I loaned it? I really don't know. It's been a lot of years. Somebody admired it greatly, and I said, just several years ago, and I said, well, I can't do it again. Even back then I knew I didn't have the pattern, so I don't know. Anyway, by now you're staring at it. You've seen the mistake, right? It's not so much a mistake as it's an omission. There's an apple missing right there. It jumped out at me and slapped me in the face when I was standing in the kitchen a couple weeks ago. So my conundrum is, do I try to casually, carefully, from the top, stitch in that other apple, which I maybe... I don't know. I maybe could do it. But if I stretch out the fabric or something a little too much trying to get the needle under there, that's never going to remedy itself. Even if I took out the stitching. Do I live with it as a personalization? I don't know. You know how it is when you make a mistake and you know it's there, is that you see it. Every time you look at it, it's the first thing you see. I have admired this across my kitchen any number of times. There's a piece of fuzz. I don't know. So anyway, what I need to know, it's not fuzz, I think it's just the fabric, is what color red is this? Does anybody have Sampler Girl in the Kitchen with Jane Austen and knows what red this is? I'm sure it's overdyed. That's pretty evident by how bright it is. Cherry Cobbler? I have no idea. Anyway, if anybody knows, I can contemplate with that piece of thread in my hand whether I try to put in those 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13 stitches. I feel like that's really an unlucky number, 13, that I should just leave it alone. Put it back on the wall, get on with my life. If I had an apple charm, a little charm, I could put it on there. These things happen. These things happen. I don't know. It's so obvious. How did I not see that when I was making it? Taking it to be framed, admiring it with the frame, picking it up at the framers, hanging it on the wall, taking it down to dust it all those years. So anyway, what can I do? So Sunday morning, October 29th, like I said, gray and dreary. I leave tomorrow morning to go on a quilt thing that lasts until Thursday, except that I get to come home and sleep. I've been organizing my projects, way more projects than I am sure I can stitch in that, or quilt, work on, sew in my sewing machine. That's the way we do it. That's how we roll. Oh, one more quick thing. I was inspired by how beautiful this was when Heather McLean showed it on Instagram. I had to go buy it. I also happened to find, when I was at Michael's, a wooden pedestal thing that this could go on. So the ball's already rolling on how this guy will work up. We'll see how fast I get to it. So many projects. So many projects. All right, everybody. I hope you have a good Sunday. I don't plan to leave the house, except I discovered we're not going to have milk past tomorrow morning. Even though I'm going away, I'll be home for the night, so I will have breakfast at home. So somebody, one of us needs to go to the grocery store. We'll see. Have a good Sunday. Bye.